I'm Jared Haynes, and this is Rogue Outdoors. Today I'm here at Lucky Shot Archery in Chehalis, Washington to talk about two Rinehart targets here that are in the exotic category. So you've got the Velociraptor and then the Stegosaurus. So the Stegosaurus is going to run you about $275, and then the Velociraptor you're going to be looking at somewhere around $875 to get these two. Now these are a lot easier targets to have as a private person in your backyard or on a private range because they're a lot smaller, easier to transport yourself, taking them in and out. However, I do want to touch on what Cody's advice is as a range owner on these targets, some of the ways he uses them, and some of the things to be cautious of when placing them for how arrows basically are going to hit them and deteriorate the targets.
So as a shop owner, when I use these targets on my indoor range or my outdoor range, there's certain considerations I take into where I want to place them and how I'm going to place them. So for the Stegosaurus, he's smaller, he's just got a replaceable insert, it's 2 stakes, put him on it, and I'm typically going to be using him at the shorter to close distance area, 20-25 yards, because he's smaller and I want people to hit that insert. The Velociraptor comes in 3 separate pieces. You've got a tail, the torso section, and the head section. And when Rinehart sends this to you, they send it with glue and screws because of the overall length of this target being 8 foot 6 inches, I believe. That's a lot of distribution of weight on this seam right here. So you're going to apply glue to this, put it down, screw it down, and let it cure. Same thing with the head. And because of that, that makes me worried about having shots hitting this seam as a danger area because I don't want to be replacing the target. I'd rather just be replacing this insert. So I'm typically going to be using him at the mid-range area. Not super long distances, but an area where I know people should be hitting this insert, and I would just have to replace that. Missing back here towards the tail, I'm not as concerned. That's a big miss, but I do know that this target is built extremely rigid and it has a lot of structural support through here. So missing back here, you could be hitting an interior portion of this target that's more likely to break the arrow. This target itself does get a little top heavy, so when I'm staking it down, I use longer rebar and I make sure it's set in a really solid place. But overall, it's a fun target to shoot.
I'm now back at 20 yards, and we're going to take a shot at the Velociraptor, and then we're going to take a shot at the Stegosaurus. So this target is definitely, like Cody said, a fun one. Kids absolutely love this target. I mean, adults absolutely love this target as well. It's exciting one to add. Now, as a private person at your own home range, this isn't exactly a target that's going to help you with hunting an actual animal, like being able to visualize the Velociraptor you're going to go out and hunt. It does, because the vitals are raised and there's so much empty space under that chest area, it does give you a little bit of a mental struggle, I would say, when you're shooting it, that you have to really hold on because you don't have much of an area that you can miss low or high on it. It is fairly narrow for how big the target's overall length is. That's just one thing to consider as having it as a private person, as this one, in my opinion, is a little bit more of the fun target, adds interest and kind of a thing. So let's shoot this. You'll get a look at what it looks like at this distance. So that's what you're looking at for the 20-yard distance. It's a little bit, 4.5 feet tall, basically, so it's a little bit shorter than I am. I'm 5'10", but that gives you a good looking target up to about 50 yards, in my opinion. After that, the vital section, because it's only about this big, is getting a little bit small, but it also adds that challenge to, shoot it at that distance. I hope you liked the video. This is one in a series of many videos on the Rinehart signature series and exotic targets and masterpiece targets that they offer that I'm gonna produce and put out. This series is intended to show both private people like myself what this target would look like at more reasonable distances and some uses that you might put it into, having it at like a home backyard range, as well as get some advice from Cody on either how they're put together, if there's specifics on that, and or how he places them on his range to not only give the shooters the best experience, but also to protect the targets and, you know, make sure that he's not wearing out inserts or wearing out bodies in unnecessary ways. So I hope you liked the video. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing to this channel, and I'll see you in the next one.